Today on Shop Talk New Mexico, we sit down with Amanda Bridgman, owner of the beloved Mrs. Sprinkles Ice Cream Parlor here in Albuquerque. In this relaxed, behind the scenes conversation, Amanda shares how she got started, the inspirations behind her business, and the challenges she's faced along the way. We'll dive into what it's really like running a small town ice cream shop, how she connects with customers, and what keeps people coming back for more. It's a sweet story of community, creativity, and grit, the kind of local business journey that makes New Mexico special. Grab a scoop and join us. Welcome to Shop Talk New Mexico. Today we're with Amanda Bridgman, correct?
Correct.
Okay. She is the owner and proprietor of Mrs. Sprinkles Ice Cream Parlor. And today we're going to be talking with her about how she came about building this business and how well it has fit into the scene here in Albuquerque. So before we go any further, I want to ask you, how'd you come up with the name Mrs. Sprinkles?
When I decided to do ice cream, I was trying to think of something that children would remember, and I kept thinking like Santa Claus. I kept thinking the Easter Bunny. I kept thinking the Tooth Fairy. Like these things that are so magical that kids just always remember. And about 6 years ago, I dressed up. I used to like to go like to Halloween things and dress up as like certain characters. One year I did Ronald McDonald. People knew who Ronald McDonald is. And then the second year I did Miss Spring Kills. It was a creepy ice cream lady that I had seen on Pinterest, the idea, and I came up with it. So when I kept thinking, like, do I want to go Frosty because it's ice cream? Do I want to go a polar bear or a Yeti? I kept going back to, I want to do something that a child would remember. So I went back to 6 years ago, Miss Spring Kills, but we turned it into Miss Sprinkles.
Oh, very,
much more
very
kid
nice.
friendly.
Very nice. So before you started this business, you were a bartender. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. How did being a bartender, how did that experience work towards helping you establish this business?
So I was at the same dive bar for 13 years. And when I first started, I kind of was like intimidated by humans, I guess you could say. Like I was kind of very quiet when I first started there. And then after 13 years, I got to become best friends with these people and see like the highs and the lows and the things that every human goes through, that it's just being human. You'll have celebrations, you'll have deaths. And for some reason, my heart just kept going back to these people that I was like, man, I want to do something with the community. I don't want to just be making drinks for people and just, I need to hear more stories. I want to see more celebrations. I want to become best friends with everybody in the community. And I know that might sound weird. And people always say, like, your best friend, someone you grew up with. I don't believe that. I feel like I have become such best friends with the community.
Right, right. And you're clearly very much a people person.
Yeah, and I feel like the bar helped me with that. I think it brought out a lot of me when it comes to like my heart and everything. I don't feel like I was a huge empath when I started, and I feel like after quitting the bar, I think that's just where my heart is. I want to know about people's stories, and I want to help them grow. And when I see other small businesses, I feel like I want to help them. I want to help everybody.
Right, right. So you started this during COVID, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So how was it starting a business during COVID?
So it was the winter of 2020. So I had lost my job in the summer, the spring summer when COVID hit in like March, April. All those restaurants shut down, the bars shut down. And I kind of was left like, what am I going to do? And I had saved money and stuff, so I wasn't like super struggling, but I think mentally I was struggling more as in, what's my purpose? Like I didn't really know what to do. And I was like, I want to work for myself. I knew that. I have always known that. I wanted to work for myself. So I was like, I'm going to work for myself. I want to be mobile because I don't know how long this whole shutdown might be. And by the time I actually bought my truck in the winter of 2020, everything was opening back up again, but the world was still scared. And so I thought, why not a food truck? And that's where it started. I actually thought to myself, I want to open a breakfast food truck.
Very good. So you had you had the deck stacked against you because one, you started it in the winter. It's ice cream. Ice cream.
Yep.
You don't think of ice cream in the winter.
Right.
It was during COVID,
Right.
so everything was locked down. People weren't going out. So um,
it started breakfast food truck.
So it started as a breakfast food truck, which is not as seasonal as ice cream.
Correct.
That sells year round.
Correct.
But it sounds to me like you were in an uphill struggle.
Correct.
Getting this started more so than yeah. I mean, if you were opening an ice cream shop in the middle of summer down on the beach,
right,
that would where there were no other ice cream shops, then that would
right.
probably work out real well.
Right.
But with the shutdowns and the off season, that really had to have been a struggle.
So I actually set sail on the ice cream truck. I revamped her the spring of 2021.
Okay.
So I didn't technically open in the winter.
You were coming into the
I was coming season. Correct, but I still didn't know what the world was going to look like even a year or a month from this COVID shutdown.
Right.
So that was just kind of, do I buy a truck when I'm not even bringing in income?
Sure.
At this point, like we were, and then do I continue working at the bar, or do I just put my feet all in on this ice cream truck?
Right. Right.
It was very weird. It
was exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, talk about the truck. I've seen a lot of food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anybody convert a mail truck into a food truck. Okay. So, how did that come about?
So, I actually found the truck on Marketplace, and it was actually already a vintage ice cream truck. It was red, white, and blue. Very much not my favorite colors. I prefer bright and warmer colors, I would say, like pinks and oranges and yellows and everything bright. So when I got the truck, my dad actually said, keep it the way it is. People, that will sell. It looks cute already. And I was like, that's not my style, Dad. And so when I got online that night, I was like, what would I want it to look like? I've always been an old soul. So I like anything vintage, anything with frills, anything with lace, anything extra. They say nowadays. They call it extra.
Nice. Yes.
But so when I kept looking, I actually looked up a lot of ice cream trucks online, and I came across this woman's ice cream truck in Florida named Marie Darling's ice cream truck. And it was the cutest truck. It's the same exact model as mine, but hers was a teal with bright pink, and I wanted something more subtle in case I rented it for weddings or photo shoots. I wanted it a little bit more subtle and more my style, which would be more vintage compared to the bright one. So I emailed Marie and I asked her if she would give her blessings on letting me copy the style of her truck. And she did. She actually sent me these pair of earrings right here that I have on today with a good luck card, and she couldn't be more excited for my journey. And now we are wonderful friends online.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So what kind of memories stand out from when you were doing the truck approach rather than the brick and mortar?
So I have two favorite memories. So one was an elderly woman. I actually passed her, and I didn't realize that until I looked up into like my mirror. Whoops. I looked up into my mirror, and I saw her like jump over a bush in her yard and like was waving me down on the street. And so I like stepped on the brake and I like backed up and like went back to her house, and she was like out of breath. Like she's an elderly lady. And she almost had tears in her eyes. She was so excited that she hasn't seen an ice cream truck since she was little.
Oh,
and
really?
She ended up paying for the whole block that was coming out, like on the, because a lot of people walk and like stand on the side of the streets. And so she actually said that she felt like she had to pay for everybody's ice cream that day.
Oh, very nice.
And then the second one was a little boy dragging his trash down the street like a quarter mile, chasing me. And I ended up stopping in a house like from his house. So he was dragging the trash all the way to the ice cream truck window and holding it. And I said, is that trash? And he was like, I was taking out the trash, but I didn't want to miss you. And it was like the funny. He's just sitting there with a giant garbage trash can. And I don't think his parents even know he left the yard.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was awesome.
That's amazing. So what was it that made you decide to get away from the truck and open a shop?
So interactions with customers. I am a very much people person, like we've said before. Mm-hmm. I like to talk to people, like to know people's stories. So as much as I like the magic that the truck brings because people are not so used to seeing it, and a lot of children these days don't even know what an ice cream truck is. I craved more interaction with people. So with the ice cream truck, it's like stop and then like here's your ice cream and then you go. I want to know their story. I want to be best friends with them, as I like to say. And with the truck, it's just too short of an interaction that I wanted to open a parlor to bring people together as a community.
So here at Mrs. Sprinkles, what type of a vibe do you try to generate?
Happy, as simple as it is. Happy.
Make the people happy, and they'll come back every time.
I just want them to leave happier than they were.
That is a fantastic philosophy for business. Any business, no matter what you're selling. So you recently had an event here. I think it was what, June 27th. You had
yes.
Can you tell me about that?
So the husband and wife law office actually reached out to me, and they wanted to pay the tab for 2 hours for up to $15 per person. So they covered the tab for, I think it was a little over 200 people that showed up. And they showed up early and they showed up happy. It was a phenomenal, epic event, is like what I like to say.
Wow.
It was crazy. Lots of ice cream,
nice.
lots of ice cream, lots of smiles, lots of fun.
Very good, very good. So I think after I get this put together, I'm going to contact them.
Yeah.
And see if they have an ad that they would like to run on your video for free.
Okay. Yeah.
As sort of a thank you from me for you to them.
I think they would enjoy that.
Okay. Has your goals and your mission, has that changed since you first started this business?
Not the mission, but goals, yes.
Okay.
I want more. I want a bigger building. If you've been into the parlor, it's 1,000 square feet and it is full. And I need probably double that to where I think I would be happy. And I probably always want more. I feel like there's always room to fill things with more community events. And I struggle in this building just because it is smaller.
Right. Yeah.
But the mission will always be the same: make people happy.
So, do you do catering?
So we can. I do a lot of catering with the ice cream truck. I'll go to events. The base will hire me. Weddings. We'll actually have a wedding in August booked. We do a ton of birthday parties. So I guess you consider that catering.
That's definitely catering.
When it comes to the ice cream shop, they do have an option to get catered little sundaes. For the wedding, we'll be doing mini sundaes that the bride and groom created. That is their own.
Sure. Real quick, run us through your creative process that you use when you're coming up with new designs for your ice cream creations and the events that you host.
Okay. So ice cream sundaes. I do like my employees' input, but a lot of times I'll come up with like the main point of them. I'll be walking and I will see a beautiful sunset. So I'll say, let's put in Albuquerque sunset on special. Just recently it was raining a lot. So I said a monsoon mudslide. Why not? So I like to go with the seasons and whatever holidays are around. Halloween's a big one. We have a lot of fun, spooky, sprinkly specials. Valentine's Day was some of the best selling Sundays that we've had to date. And I kind of went more of like a vintage love. So there was called like the Love Boat. Retro Love Sunday was a really big popular one. So I kind of like to look at the simplistic things in life, but bring more like fun to them.
Right. So you were mentioning the monsoon mudslide.
Yeah.
Do you have other creations that are Albuquerque themed?
So we did do a Albuquerque banana split last year, and that was kind of more around Cinco de Mayo. We actually, I know that's a different holiday, but we had a churro banana split. So it was like a Albuquerque banana split, but it had churros on it.
Okay.
And that was that. Okay. And we also had a Albuquerque, I think it was a sundae, and it was what are the cookies? Biscochitos. So it was a bunch of crushed Biscochitos with bananas and stuff in a sundae form with caramel sauce, and that was a huge hit.
Right.
I feel like Albuquerque is very community focused.
Sure.
So I feel like when they see something that is New Mexican related or New Mexico related, I feel like they kind of really like to see stuff like that. Same with the monsoon mudslide. We all know the monsoons here.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, it is. Do you have any special events that you do during the Balloon Fiesta time?
So last Balloon Fiesta, we were open our first year, and we actually filled all of these flags up here that you will see with children's coloring of the sprinkle balloon. I actually had an artist create a sprinkle balloon because that is a goal of mine, is to have an Albuquerque ice cream look like a balloon. A far future one, of course. But the children colored them in, or they actually drew their own, and we did a big competition for it. So that was a lot of fun. And then I actually took the ice cream truck out to the Balloon Fiesta park for one of their night events, which was really fun. So,
very good, very good.
I'm excited for this year.
So, even in a business where you've got a lot of fun going on most of the time, you still have stress.
Right.
How do you cope with the stress?
I say focus on the mission. I think a lot of times I'll get burnt out sometimes because I'm trying to do too many things at once. So I try to go home and try to focus. It's very hard for me to focus. I'm not someone that likes to focus or can focus. But when I do, I try to really think back of why I started. And it's, again, with bringing the community together. And so I need to just sit back and tell myself that it'll be okay. I try to believe that everything happens for a reason. It'll be okay. And
so would you say that there were times when you felt discouraged and had thought about just quitting?
So I've never thought about quitting because I feel like I don't think I could do that to myself. But I do feel like if I ever did quit, I feel like I did give it all my all. But I don't want to. I don't think I've ever wanted to quit. I think I just want more. I crave more. So craving more means there's no quitting.
Right, right. So I would say that it would be safe to say that Mrs. Sprinkles is not just an ice cream shop,
Correct.
but is in fact an experience.
100%.
And so, you're continually building on that experience and creating new adventures.
Yep.
For lack of a better word.
Right. So for me, when I opened the ice cream shop, it's not about ice cream for me. It's about bringing people together, bringing back the nostalgia of going to go get a cone with your grandpa or your grandma, and just like you said, an experience. You remember those when you were a child, or when you become an adult. You remember, hey, we used to go to this cute little ice cream shop or chocolate shop or burger joint, and I want to create those memories for this new generation.
Right, right, and that's the sort of thing that brings people
right.
back and builds customer loyalty.
Right.
Right,
mm-hmm.
Right. So, what kind of advice would you give to anyone, but particularly to women,
mm-hmm.
who are wanting to get away from the 9-to-5 grind and take the leap into entrepreneurship, but something in the back of their head is holding them back? What would be your advice to them?
I'm not endorsed by Nike, but I say just do it.
That's do it.
As simple as it can get is just do it.
Do it.
If you believe in a dream, it can happen.
Yeah.
Anything is possible in this life. If I want to be an astronaut, will it take me many moons to get there? Yes. But I will probably maybe eventually get there if I believe in my heart that I could. Right. I don't think anything's off the table in this life.
Great. Okay. Last question.
Yes.
Where do you go from here? Bigger.
I would like to actually have a ice cream shop that has old style candy. I would like to do snow cones. I want to sell lemonade. I want to do coffee. I want to do it all. I want Mrs. Sprinkles to be the one stop for your sweet tooth.
Okay.
Not to where someone is craving something else, but you're craving this. I want it to be where there's something for every single person.
Right. Well, let's expand on that for just a second.
Yeah.
You do not make your own ice cream.
Correct.
Is that a direction that you might want to go?
It's not off the tables. It's not off the tables at all. I actually have a goal next year. I like to do New Year's resolutions, and my one goal, I think, for next year is to focus on making 1 to 2 flavors.
Okay. So make your own
flavors.
flavors.
And they will be very creative.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, and those of course, you would theme to something.
100%.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
might be called the Happy Scoop. I don't know.
So you could be like the Ben and Jerry's, but without the weirdism.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That sounds great. That sounds great. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to leave it at this point, and we'll we'll put your information in the video. Amanda, thank you very much for having us here today.
Thanks for having me.
We certainly wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors. I know that with your enthusiasm, this is going to go big.
Thank you.
And I'm ready for a scoop of ice cream.
What flavor?
Pistachio.
With sprinkles.
Absolutely. And that wraps up today's sweet conversation with Amanda Bridgman from Mrs. Sprinkles Ice Cream. If you haven't stopped by yet, make your way to 3107 Eubank Boulevard here in Albuquerque's Northeast Heights. You won't regret it. Got questions or want to order ahead? Give them a call at 505 489 6137. Their hours of operation are 12:30 to 8 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 12:30 to 9 on Fridays, 12 to 9 on Saturdays, and 12 to 8 on Sundays. They're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Be sure to follow their latest creations and exciting events on Facebook and Instagram at Mrs. Sprinkles Ice Cream. Thank you for joining us on Shop Talk New Mexico. We're grateful to have you as part of our growing community. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We've got some exciting guests and powerful stories coming your way. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Shop Talk New Mexico.